The city of Denver just made a move that many experts believe is going to cause more homelessness. But at the same time, these same experts believe this is the best step forward. Now I want to break down what's going on, why this is potentially going to turn into a crisis, and why they say to expect this in a city near you. So I'll break that down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. Okay, so what did Denver just do that is potentially going to cause a homelessness crisis around the United States? Well, let's look into it. It says Denver launches a new asylum seeker program in major migrant strategy shift. Now I want to explain this, and we're going to talk a little bit about this and why they decided to shift from a previous strategy to the new one, because this is actually up against what Chicago's doing and what New York has been doing over the past few months. Look at this though, okay? Denver is pivoting on their migrant crisis. They want to offer fewer people help, but they want to extend it, okay? They want to extend it by offering fewer people assistance. This is causing some people, some officials, to really concern and be very worried about what's going to happen moving forward. I want to show you this. This is New York. In New York, it says adult migrants are limited to a 30-day stay in the right to shelter settlement. Here's the thing. In New York City, adults 30 years of age and older, you have 30 days. Okay? So if you're 23 years of age and older, you have 30 days. That's it. To stay in a shelter. And then they tell you to get out. It can be 15 days in one shelter, you move, you come back another 15 days, that's your 30, then you're gone. That is a problem for people in New York because at 31 days, they could potentially be homeless. But let's talk about this, because here's what's happening in Denver. And this is why experts believe this is a strategy, but it might not be the best strategy because it's going to cause homelessness today. Not in 6 months, today. Look at this. It says Denver makes major shift in migrant response by extending support to 6 months, but limiting spaces. Previously, what Denver has been doing and what many cities across the United States are doing, they're offering migrants a place to live. This could be in a hotel room. This could be some type of apartment. This could be in a shelter. But here's the problem. If we just offer unlimited housing, everybody's going to come in and say that they're homeless. Everyone's going to come in and say that they're coming from another country, right? Because why wouldn't you? If you're homeless, just say you're from Venezuela. Don't really speak any English. Come in and they'll give you a place to live, right? Because that's about what's happening. The homeless here in the U.S., especially in California, are still homeless. But the immigrants coming in, they now have a place to live. Let's go ahead and read this article. It's actually from ABC News. But before I touch on this, the reason why I bring this to your attention is because we are seeing a massive homeless crisis here in the United States. This article right here says one of Portland's oldest homeless villages is actually running out of money. It is the Right to Dream. Okay? It says without more money, Right to Dream 2 would have to shut down the overnight shelter. Well, we're about to see that. You know another problem? California is struggling just to gauge their efficacy of the homeless crisis that they spent money on. They spent billions of dollars. 30% of the United States homeless population lives in California. That's troubling. You know why? Because California spent $24 billion to tackle homelessness over the past 5 years, but they didn't track whether or not that money was even going to the right places. It was improving the situation. And according to a state audit that they just did, they have no clue what they were doing. They were just giving that money away. Well, that's part of the problem. Let's go ahead and read this article, okay, from ABC News. It says Denver Mayor Mike Johnson announced a major shift Wednesday in the city's response to the migrant crisis, extending support to 6 months, but with only about 1,000 spaces. The mayor's pivot follows failed attempts to get federal aid and deep cuts to the city's budget, as Denver served a total of nearly 41,000 migrants since the end of 2022. What's crazy about that number? Some people believe that is closer to 50,000 people, not 41. That's an additional that's almost 25% more. Yeah, they could be almost underselling that number. It says the goal for the shelter is to act as a buffer and offer intensive preparation while new arrivals wait 6 months for a work permit after applying for asylum under federal law. President Biden said he was going to expedite work permits. That hasn't happened. Because that has not happened, we are seeing asylum seekers come into the United States, apply for asylum, then have to wait for a work permit. The problem is that they are waiting 6 months. Some are waiting even longer. So they cannot work legally. And so because of that, they're staying in these shelters. They're trying to get free food, free healthcare, whatever they can get for free, because they have no money, because they can't legally work. I want to show you this one as well. It says in Denver, roughly 800 migrants currently in city shelters would be the first in line for the new program, called the Denver Asylum Seeker Program. The city expects the cap of approximately 1,000 to be reached in the coming days. That means 200 in just a matter of days. It says the city will still run a congregate shelter with stays capped at 24 to 72 hours, far shorter than previous shelter allowances that range from 2 to 6 weeks. The assumption, Johnson said, is that many new arrivals are either moving forward to other locations or settling with families and friends. Keep in mind, a Denver official recently told migrants that they should leave. They should get out of the city, let Denver pay for their one-way ticket out of the city, because it's going to be worse for them in Denver than anywhere else. And that's simply because Denver is running out of money. The issue right now is that many cities all around the United States are in desperate need of more money to handle this migrant surge. However, Congress is giving them less money, not more. That's a huge concern. And the reason why I wanted to break this down for you today, number one, Denver just announced this yesterday on April 10th, 2024. But the expectation is that within the next 2 to 3 months, we are going to see a massive surge in new migrants coming into the United States. And the second thing is we're going to see more people become homeless, which means you're going to see more tents. You're going to see more people sleeping in cars. You will see more people just sleeping on the street in a sleeping bag, because that's all they could afford and that's all they have on their back. So, the one thing I just want to warn you is that experts are telling us this is coming to a city near you. Does not matter if you're in the South, if you're in the Midwest, you could be on the East Coast or the West Coast. You are about to face this, and we're going to face this together. So, as soon as we get more information on this, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.